your front row over here. You can get somebody else to your camera. Somebody else to your camera.
I got it. I got the whole thing.
Take your time. Don't bring it. We're not in a hurry. We're not in a hurry. Right over here. You guys, you and Don in front row.
Jennifer. We need the buzzer in here. We just have to move it. Yeah, he wants to stay out there. He says he could watch the games.
All of you for coming. This is a special day. I have Margaret and Don Kuhlenschmidt next to me, and they're the ones that helped create this plane behind us. And today's event is just a celebration of what they gave this museum to help us start. The theme today is our dream. Our dream is the dream of the museum, but as you see it, we titled it My Dream. So this plane that he created from scratch took him about 7 or 8 years, mostly spruce wood, and Margaret was very kind. She was a good spouse and allowed him to have a second love. The second love was this plane. Anyway, I've got a few words I want to say about this and about this plane and about what this means to our museum. On behalf of the Freedom Heritage Museum, all the board members and members would like to thank the Kuhlenschmidt family for this special gift. It's a very historic day for us. Historic in many ways. Don's got a suit on. I got a suit on. And Wayne said he was going to wear a suit. But he only wears them for weddings and funerals. So he didn't have a suit on today. So he promised he would wear a suit. But he's got a sport coat. But Don didn't dress up here. Okay. Don's plane is called My Dream. And this plane will help the Freedom Heritage Museum create our dream. Our dream will show the world how Evansville changed the world. The world changed Evansville during World War II, and Evansville changed the world. And that's what the purpose and the mission of this museum is. Don and Margaret are from the greatest generation. Margaret worked at our World War II plant, Chrysler, about 10 blocks from her house, about 11 blocks from Don's house. At the Chrysler plant, located in Maxwell and Stringtown, she helped inspect some of the 3 billion bullets. Now, she didn't inspect all those bullets, but some of them. She moved when Don's duty stations changed during World War II. He became a pilot in World War II, and she moved around with him part of that time. Later in life, however, she showed the thing called virtue, the virtue of love and patience. She allowed him to have this dream, this second love. And he constructed this from plans, just from wood, and they said that FedEx truck and all these trucks would show up every day. They ruined their driveway, coming in every day, delivering materials. And the plane, the wing here, that only took Don, both wings only took about a year to make. Now, you might read the Bible sometime about the patience of Job. I think we've got Job right here. I don't have that much patience to work on just the wings, and the other part only took him 6 to 7 years. I've talked to many people about Don. He's a perfectionist, if you can't tell it. This is a Cvjetkovic CA65, and it's made solely by Don over this 7 to 8 year period of time. It's made of a wood called spruce wood. This same type of wood was used during the World War II era when the late Howard Hughes made the spruce scoops. That's probably one of the biggest planes in existence. Its wingspan is 300 feet. This wingspan is 26 feet. So it's about 11 times bigger than that. So if you imagine a football field, that's how big the spruce goose is. So this is a little bit smaller than this, but it wasn't small. We had Fuller Trucking moving, and it wasn't small for us, but it seems small. I don't think they're going to move the spruce scoops. I don't think they have that capability. Don and Margaret thought about giving this plane to their church. Their minister would have got a little closer to heaven if they would have given it to the church. But luckily for Freedom Heritage Museum, they reconsidered and said they were going to donate it to us. So our board members and members will always cherish this gift. The mission, as I stated earlier, of the Freedom Heritage Museum is to facilitate awareness of the world of what Evansville did during World War II. Yesterday we saw in the paper the new hockey team was named the Thunderbolts. And the Southern Indiana honor flight went all the way to Washington, D.C. with World War II veterans that served in World War II and also the Korean War veterans. A half a mile west of us is a place called Thunderbolt Golf Course. These are all symbols that says Evansville cares about its history. Today we honor two members of the greatest generation for their gift to our museum. Margaret and Don's virtues will live in our subconscious forever. They are made of the same fiber that other individuals from the tri-state area manifested during that era. Their work ethic, their tenacity, and their love of perfection are elements that our museum will instill in the generations to come. Evansville was an industrial giant during the World War II era, producing over 300 different items for the war effort. This was all accomplished in a very short period of time with the highest quality. This quality is symbolized by our emblem of our museum back here. There were 13 different Evansville factories that were given 26 awards called the Excellence Awards in World War II. Only 4% of factories in the United States were given this award, and Evansville got 26 of them. The excellence is what we symbolize in our museum, and you see excellence in my dream. The school systems across the United States are stressing this STEM system. What STEM is, for some people that don't know, it's science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, Don is not a total expert in all of these before he made a plane, but he is an expert now in all of those. Every one of those, he's an expert. Science, technology, engineering, and math. And that's what our students need. Before Sputnik, 1958, we were worried about what the Russians were going to do. And so our school system started stressing science and math. And this, with our museum, will hopefully stress those tangible and experiential things for students in the future. Our museum will make our dream, as on the board there, our dream, show the world how Evansville workers, factories, and soldiers change the world. My dream will help our dream happen. Thank you, Margaret, Don, Donna, Dwayne, Linda, and grandkids for this gift. Bottom of our hearts, appreciate it. Okay, Don, we got a few words from you. He didn't know this was going to be for him today, but if he's got a few words from you, Margaret, can you tell us maybe a little bit about the experience of making this plane and how easy it was? You got to speak up. They got bad ears.
That's what I do, is say very few words. I've modeled airplanes since I was a kid. My dad would give me a dime each week that I could go buy a little kit on maybe the balls with a tissue paper, rubber band, they would really fly, they would expand up quick. And as I grew up, I got the bigger airplanes, and one I made on a string, and Just about finished the rest.
He said they took their Cessna that he bought and went over every state except they didn't miss Maine.
Until Alaska, beyond the Arctic Circle, we'll be able to see the oil wells. And just to see Alaska. Alaska's nothing but rivers and lakes. And back then, we didn't have the electronics to guide us when we had to navigate by visual contact with the ground. And when you've got nothing but rivers and lakes, it gets awful difficult. We enjoy the airplane life, we should not do much society. And I just fell in love with this little airplane when I saw one. And it really brought back old memories. This one is not built like any others. There's no aluminum in it at all. It's all. Thanks for coming on. That's awesome.
How do you tell how easy it was to support him for 7 or 8 years? He was in the part of the back of the house when he made the fuselage, and then he made the wings and the barn, and got the big part of the house. Can you tell us how you supported him during that time?
Well, I guess I always said that when I married him, I knew I was his second love. so that was it. But I just thought of one thing this morning that I thought kind of emphasizes that. When he was in the service, he was a private when he went in. And his pay wasn't all that much. And of course you had to send, they had an allotment that you had to send to your family. Well, by the time the allotment was taken out of his pay, he ended up with, I don't know if you remember, was it $16 or $18?
14.
$14. I would love it. Okay, it was $14. Well, that $14 was earmarked for renting a plane and flying. And that's where every month he looked forward to when he got his $14 check so he could go flying. So that's, that kind of emphasizes, that's just the story of our lives.
Well, they're both examples. Like there's so many people in Evansville that are examples in the tri-state area. So any of you here today, if you know anybody that has any items from any of those 330 products that were made in Evansville, or anybody that has stories that worked in one of the factories, we have Rosie Riveter with us, Lucy Wansealer and Dorothy Wansealer there from the LST, helped make the LSTs downtown, and Lucy helped make the tail of the Republic Aviation plane P-47. But that's our goal, is to try to get items and get the history of items and the history of people before we lose all these items and the people are no longer able to tell their stories. And that's what our goal is. And so any of you that know anybody, we'd love to talk to them, just call us, and we're glad to try to organize their information so it's helpful to the next 100 years of society around here. Thank you all for coming. We have punch and cookies, and we have lots of board members here to give you a private tour to see what we have here. We have a lot of storage below the airport, so we don't have it all out, but we'd like to let you see the area. We have an area for booths. We have an area where all of Evansville is represented, the three major factories on the walls, and then we have Bucyrus Erie located in there. In this big room, we have a P-47 engine. The size of that engine is about 2,800 cc's. That's a pretty big engine. The plane of a P-47, which we hope to have in here in some time in the near future, weighs about 17,000 pounds, a little heavier than what the Fuller's heavy movement is. This is about 1,300 pounds or so. But that engine was very important in World War II. Pat Doris is letting us use that plane, that yellow plane. That plane was used for, it's a trainer plane. It's won a lot of awards in Oshkosh, so there's two seats, one for the pilot in the back and the one learning how to fly in the front. It's a pretty good sized engine, about half the size of a P-47 plane. That's one of the prettiest planes in town. You see them flying around. And then the LST, we're trying to marry them as well as Chrysler and some other places. That's the Higgins boat, and some people say that won the war. And they have about 4 of them down there. They have one stored and let us use it. I think it's about 9 tons, and then there's the plans on the side of the plane. Like Don's planes are all inside the door. And here's one of the planes. Don's planes are, half his plans are all framed inside the museum. And you see 2 LST replicas there in front you can look at. Then inside's got a lot of other things. Have one of the board members show you. So glad you're here. We want you to try to make this pre-marriage a success. And the symbolism of these 2 people are tenacity, hard work, and those 2 things, our museum has both of those things. So these 2 are our symbol of how much hard work, how much tenacity we have, and what we're going to do for this community. Thank you again, everybody.